Here's Hutchinson on how good he would feel if somehow, some way, the Lions would be the team that trades for Myles Garrett.
We were just talking about what could be, and although it's probably unlikely, I think I would be thrilled to play next to him if it were to happen. But our whole D line would be like just totally elevated, and we would. That'd be a scary defensive line, and we get along too. I think I've seen him these last few years at different things. He texted me after I got hurt, which I don't know. It was just a cool thing. Like guys outside of your own team who reach out to you. I think so. I think he's a good dude, and if he does, great. But I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see. But that would be awesome.
Yeah, it's highly unlikely that he would be traded to the Detroit Lions. It's going to take a significant haul. It's going to take significant money. I think he's going to want a new contract on the way in the door. And Chris, the Browns first have to be willing to move on from him. They have shown no indication, and maybe this is just driving a hard bargain to get a greater return.
Yeah.
They've given no sign whatsoever that they're willing to trade Myles Garrett. And if they are, we're going to hear about it this week, because when the entire league descends on Indianapolis and all the teams are there and all the agents are there and lots of business gets done and there's all sorts of meetings, if there's going to be meetings about a possible trade for Myles Garrett, that tells you it's moving in that direction. If the Browns aren't taking a single meeting with anybody and they just refuse to talk about it, that tells you that it's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, and they're not going to give him away. I mean, this is arguably the best defensive player in football. And so it's not going to just happen lightly, and they're going to, he doesn't want to be here, we're just going to trade him, see you later. I mean, it's going to have to be a haul, like you talked about. Yeah, and the money that future team or whoever wants to trade for him, what they might have to pay him, I don't know, right? But, like, to me, the Lions is not a crazy thought. I'll say that. I mean, that's one of the issues with their team, right? Is the pass rusher. That's what we talked about from the second Aidan Hutchinson got hurt. In fact, when Aidan Hutchinson was healthy, we kind of were like, man, if they just had another pass rusher, they would be unreal on defensive side of the ball, right? They don't have the bevy of pass rushers like the Philadelphia Eagles do or some of the other top defenses in the game do. And to where I could see them maybe dabbling in this conversation with Myles Garrett a little bit is, we don't know what Aidan Hutchinson will be next year. His leg snapped in half. Ligaments were bothered. Bones are not as strong. So this gives a little leeway to that, let alone, I'll just say, with the Lions conversation, they're ready. Like, they don't need a lot. There's not really any holes in that roster to where you could look at it and go, could they justify trading a few picks in future years to get Myles Garrett because they feel like their team's set up? Yeah, I could certainly see that too. So I don't think it's crazy to think Myles Garrett to Detroit. But like you said, it's going to be expensive.
Speaking of crazy, and I know we have to take a break, but this happened after your final day on February 13, because 14 it was Michael Hawley, Rodney Harrison, and me. What do you think of the idea that the Browns should say, fine, we'll trade Myles Garrett, but whoever gets him has to take the last 2 years of Deshaun Watson's fully guaranteed contract too, as part of the price of getting Myles Garrett?
Well, I heard you say that, but wow, that would significantly lower the price of like assets you're going to get back. I would
absolutely.
Think. Yeah, I mean
absolutely.
Significantly, and that'd be tough. Let alone, not only is it tough with your assets, the money you're going to lose, but you're going to take it on the chin. I mean, come on. Nobody wants to see Deshaun Watson or Justin Tucker come into their town right now and be on their football team. I'm sorry.
You cut him.
Right.
You cut him
that
day.
I guess you're right.
Him.
So it would just be that way.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but I don't know if I see that happening. I don't think I see that happening.
All right. Well, I don't see it happening either. But if the Browns are looking for a way to solve the problem, this is two birds with one stone. This is let's get this Deshaun Watson thing off the books. But you're right. Look, none of this matters until the Browns are willing to both move on from Myles Garrett and to admit that they screwed up, that it was the single worst transaction arguably in NFL history between the cap consequences, the cash consequences, and the draft pick compensation that they gave up and what they've gotten in return. I can't think of a worse transaction. Maybe Herschel Walker. Maybe.
Yeah, right.
But in the age of the salary cap, this is the worst one by far.
Agreed.
For what they gave up, for what they paid, and for what they're getting back, it's been a complete and total debacle. All right, let's take a break. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.